All right, before we jump in and get started today, I wanted to take a quick second to talk about some of the goals and the things that I would like to accomplish in this professional development today. I always think it's a good idea to start with the end in mind, to have your goals in the forefront of your mind when you get started, so that way you have a better understanding of what you're working toward and then what you need to focus on during this professional development today. The first two goals that we're going to be talking about are both goals that can be found in our district-wide technology plan. The first one of those goals is to increase the use of technology by students as a tool for learning and skill building, and then specifically expand the use of digital resources for immediate feedback. One of the tools that I'm going to show you today is called PlayPosit, and I believe through using that tool, we are going to be able to address that goal. The second goal that is in our district technology plan is to use technology resources effectively to support student learning. Specifically, teachers will use available resources such as BrainPop and PBS Learning, and teachers will use technology more in the classroom. I believe that the other tool that I'm going to be showing you today, which is called Screencast-O-Matic, will help us to address that goal. The next couple of goals I want to talk about are all personal goals for you during this professional development. The first one is I can understand the basic functions of both Screencast-O-Matic and PlayPosit. So we want to make sure that during our time together today, by the end, you have a better understanding of both programs and you know the basic functions to use each. We have two more. The second goal is I will create one PlayPosit presentation and use it during instruction through Google Classroom within 2 weeks of the professional development. And finally, I will create one reteaching / remediation lesson using Screencast-O-Matic by the end of my next unit. This will also be made available to my students using Google Classroom. I just wanted to discuss those really quickly before we got started because, again, I think it's very important to know what we are working towards before we get started. Hi Kayla, I just wanted to start this off by saying thank you so much for watching this video for me. Thank you for being my guinea pig over the last couple of weeks and for emailing back and forth with me and for taking the time to respond to the survey that I sent you. I know that time is something that it never seems like we have enough of, and especially this year with you working on your K-tip binders, I know that that's a very stressful thing in and of itself. So thank you so much, and without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump right in and get started. Since we have decided to do this via video instead of face-to-face, I am going to ask you to pause the video at a couple of points and to do some things for me. I have sent you directions to your email, and I also sent you a note-taking guide. So at this point, if you have not already printed those out, I'm going to ask you to pause the video really quickly and to do that. And if you have, we'll go ahead and continue. So I'm going to be showing you two different tools today that I personally think are really awesome. I actually had no idea what either one of these were until I started my master's program back in January. And since then, I've learned about both of these, and I see that they both have a lot of benefits in the classroom, both to us as teachers and to our students as well. One thing that I really like about both of these is that they're very compatible together. They can be used together in a lot of ways, and I'm hoping to kind of show you that throughout this PD. And another thing that I really like about them is they're both free, which is always awesome. And finally, they're both also compatible with Google Classroom, which is something I know that our district has really been pushing over the past year or year and a half. So that's another benefit as well. The first tool that I want to talk to you about today is called Screencast-O-Matic, and I am actually using Screencast-O-Matic to present to you right now. Basically, it is a free recording tool that you can use to record your screen. And it is compatible with Windows, it is compatible with Mac, which I'm using right now, and it's also compatible with Chromebook, which is really nice because I know our district, with the technology grant that we were given last year, is in the process of purchasing several Chromebook carts for each school. So that's another benefit as well. You have a couple of options with recording the way that you can with Screencast-O-Matic. Your first option, if you choose to do so, is to just record your voice. And then you can also do what I'm doing now, which is your voice and a video. So those are a couple of interesting things about Screencast-O-Matic. It's really simple to use, which is great. Simple is good. All you have to do to get started is go to the Screencast-O-Matic website, which I'm going to pull up right here. This is the Screencast-O-Matic website. Up here at the top, you can see the URL. It's just screencast-o-matic.com. When you get to the site, one thing that I really like about Screencast-O-Matic is that it doesn't require any downloads. It's always kind of leery to download things off the internet, especially when they're free. And with Screencast-O-Matic, you don't have to download anything. So that's another benefit to using it. When you log on, or when you go to the web page, you do have the option to create an account and to log in. I have found in my own personal experience, I have not necessarily needed an account for what I have used it for. So you don't have to have an account to use it, but you can create one. And there are some benefits to signing up for the account. Probably the biggest being that it's similar to a YouTube channel. So if you created your account and created your screencasts through your account, students could actually, if they had an account as well, could subscribe to you, and then they would have a resource that has all of your screencasts that you've made together in one place. So that is one benefit of going ahead and signing up for the account. Like I said, the account is free, so it doesn't hurt to go ahead and sign up for it if you choose to do that. Screencast also has the option, as you can see right here where it says GoPro. They do have a paid version of Screencast-O-Matic. It's $15. Like I've said, I haven't personally found the need to use the paid version. I can pretty much do what I want to do with the free version, but it does have some benefits, and I've kind of done some research on it. One drawback to using the free version is that your screencasts can only be 15 minutes long. With that being said, you can create as many 15-minute screencasts as you want to. So what I've done in the past is, if I hit my 15-minute limit, I just stop my screencast and start a new one. And the only thing is that they're not together, but you can do it that way. You can create as many 15-minute segments as you want to. With the paid version, the $15 version, there is no time limit. You can record for days if you want to. It also has some cool benefits, like you can zoom in and draw things on your screen, which could be nice, especially if you were using it as a teaching tool. You can take it when you're finished and directly upload it to your Google Drive if you have the paid version, which is another benefit, especially with the way education is moving towards the Google Apps for Education. That would be a very quick, easy way to get it out to your students. Like I said, those are nice benefits. I don't think that they're totally necessary. You can use it and have good benefits from it just from using the free version. Before we move on, I did want to tell you really quickly how to start a screencast. It's really simple. All you have to do is go to the Screencast-O-Matic website and click on the blue Start Recording button. That is then going to take you to this page. And when you get here, all you have to do is click on the green Launch Recorder button. And it might take a second to pull up on your computer, but when it does, it's going to give you some options that look like this. And underneath this, there's going to be a red record button. And when you click on that record button, it's going to give you a nice countdown on your computer. And when it's ready, you can begin. So at this point, I do want to show you after you finish recording a screencast, what it actually looks like when you stop the video. But I will show you before I insert that clip. It's very simple to stop a screencast. All you have to do is in the bottom corner of your screen, it is going to show you your timer, and then all you would do is hit this red button. And I will insert a clip right here that shows you what that process looks like. So Kayla, when you get finished, it's going to look like this. You'll just hit that red button at the bottom of the screen, and then you've got the option here. If you don't like it, you can delete it, or you can click done. And then from here, you've got a few different options. You can, like I said, if you created the account, as you can see here, you could upload it directly to the Screencast-O-Matic website. You can upload it directly to YouTube, or you can save it as a video file, which is what I'm going to be doing here. And it is as simple as that. So after you actually finish your screencast, you can download it to your computer, and then you have a couple of different options of ways that you can actually get it to your students. One way, and this is what I've done in the past, is I've taken the video and just uploaded it to YouTube and sent it to my students that way. Another option, if you chose to do this, you could upload the video to your Google Drive. And I'm not going to go through the process of that in this video because that's not really the purpose of the PD. But if you have questions about how to upload a video to YouTube or to your Google Drive, feel free to ask me. It's very simple, and I would be more than happy to show you about that. But before we move on to the next tool, I want to talk about some benefits that I see to using Screencast-O-Matic in your classroom. I do think it has benefits, like I said, for you as the teacher and also for your students. So I'm going to give you a few ideas that I've had for my own classroom. And then on your note-taking sheet, I would like for you to jot down maybe a few ideas that you have for how you could use it in the future. So the first benefit that I see is I can really see this saving you, the teacher, a lot of time. And I think about that myself in the sense of like remediation and reteaching in my classroom. It is very difficult, at least in my experience, to find the time to fully reteach concepts to some of my students. You know, as teachers, I think that we always feel this rush to go, and to get through the content and get ready for that test at the end of the year. And sometimes when you have a handful of students who you know didn't truly grasp the content the first time that you taught it, and they took the test and they didn't do well, I think it can be really stressful to try to find the time to reteach them that content. And I've had the experience before, and I'm sure you have too, where you've told a group of students, you know, hey, I'll be here early tomorrow morning. Come in my room before school and we will work through this together. And you might tell 5 or 10 kids that, but then only 1 or 2 show up. And so in my experience, I kind of try to scramble to reteach to those students who don't show up, and I just don't have the time to do it. I don't have the time to reteach the same lesson 15 times to 15 different kids. So that's where I think screencasts could really come into play and really help out with that. So I think about it like if you had a PowerPoint or a Google Slides that you wanted to use for reteaching for a lesson, you could present it using your screencast. You could talk about everything just like you would in a regular classroom setting. And then you can upload your screencast, like I said, to YouTube or your Google Drive or your Google Classroom. And then students can complete it on their own time. They can do it before school, they can do it after school, or maybe even if they had some extra time in your class. So it would save you from having to repeat that lesson over and over again. So that's one benefit that I can see. Another thing that I think would be really beneficial is if students themselves got to create a screencast. And I will admit that I personally have not been brave enough just yet to try that out in my classroom, but it is on my to-do list of things that I hope to accomplish this school year. I do think that it would be really neat to have students create a screencast for a project. So instead of that traditional, here's my PowerPoint, they stand up in front of the class and present, or even here's my poster, they stand up in front of the class and present. I think that using Screencast would be a great way to incorporate technology and possibly help your students be a little bit more engaged, help them to be maybe a little bit more motivated to do that. Another benefit, I think, to having students create a screencast rather than standing up in front of the class and presenting is I think that it could help those students who are a little bit hesitant and shy to maybe feel a little more comfortable and open with that presentation process, because like I said at the beginning, you don't have to do this in video format like I'm doing. It can just be your voice, and so that might help those students who are a little bit more shy to feel a little more comfortable throughout a presentation. So at this point, I'm going to have you stop the video, and I would like for you to take a few minutes and just explore on Screencast. You might even create just a little 10 or 15 second screencast yourself just to kind of see what it's like. And I'm also going to ask you on your note-taking sheet to fill in some ideas of ways that you could see yourself using Screencast in your own classroom. So after you've taken 5 or 10 minutes to just explore on the program, I am going to have you hop back on here and we will continue with our second tool that I'm going to be showing you. All right, we are going to go ahead and jump right into the second part of our professional development today. The second tool that I want to show you is called PlayPosit. And like Screencast-O-Matic, PlayPosit is a completely free tool. And what you can do with PlayPosit is you can actually take videos from sites like YouTube and other streaming services, and you can insert them into the PlayPosit website. And then you can actually make them more interactive by inserting questions into the video that students have to answer as they watch. As you already know, PlayPosit is the platform that I am using to present this PD to you today. I did add you as a student, and I did that for a couple of reasons. First, I wanted to be able to collect some data from you, and you'll kind of understand more about that when we dive in and start looking at the website. But I also wanted you to have the opportunity to see what your students will see when they log in themselves, because it is pretty different from what the teacher sees. To access PlayPosit, it's pretty simple. All you're going to do is go to the PlayPosit website. As you can see up here, it's just playposit.com. Like Screencast-O-Matic, PlayPosit does have a paid version, the premium version, and it also has the free version. And students and teachers can both use the free version, but you do have to create an account. So to create an account, you'll go up here at the top of the screen in the upper right-hand corner, and you will click Join. And when you do that, you're either going to select I am an instructor or I am a student. And then it's got just some basic information for you to fill in, like your name, email address, what your students call you, and a password. For students, it's just slightly different. They take out what do your students call you. It's just their name, their email address, and their password. So it's very simple to create an account. After you have created your account, you're going to go back up here to the top and click Login. And to log in, all you have to do is insert your email address and your password, and then you are ready to go. Like I said just a few minutes ago, when teachers log in, it looks very different from what it looks like when a student logs in. As you can tell, for teachers, there are lots of options to choose from that students don't see when they log in. I actually just learned about PlayPosit this summer through one of my master's classes, and I haven't had a chance to use it yet this school year, so like you, I am still learning. And everything that I'm going to show you today are things that I've actually taught myself just through experimentation and exploring the website. But before we move on, I did want to point out one really nice feature, and it's right here down in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. It is tutorials that you can look at, and it does have a lot of really great information. So for example, I'll just show you what it looks like. When you click on the tutorials, this is what you're going to see. Over here you have lots of popular topics that people tend to have trouble with, like assigning the bulb, getting your students uploaded, things like that. And when you click on one of these, it's going to give you written directions, but it's also going to have a little video that can help you out as well. So this is a really great tool to use if you get in and you start exploring and you're not sure how to do something. This is the place that I would encourage you to check out. So, like I said before, PlayPosit has lots of really awesome features, and lots of them I'm still trying to figure out myself. But the first thing I wanted to talk about was how to create a class and how to add students to your classes. To create a class, this is actually a pretty simple process. Down here in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, you've got this Classrooms section. To add a class, you are just going to click on the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner. And then you will give your class a name. And then you are going to choose or select the subject area. So for you and I, that would be English. And then you're going to click Add Class. So that is a very simple process. Adding students is a little bit more involved, so I'm going to walk you through that process. To add a student, you do have a couple of options of how you can go about this. But up at the top of the screen, you have this green Add Students button. So you will click that button, and then this is what you're going to see. The first option, or the first thing that you can do to add students, is you can actually manually add them in yourself. Down here at the bottom, you just put their first name, their last name, email or username, their password, and then from here you can assign them directly to the class that you want them to be in. You can also upload a roster if you want to do that. With my 6th graders, I think that would probably be the best option for them. However, since you work in a high school and that process would be very time consuming to add in the number of students that you have, you do have the option to allow students to create their own account. And with high schoolers, you could probably trust them to do that. And when they create their account, they can actually type in your classroom code. My classroom code, you can see it right here. So when they create their account, they type in your code, and then they can actually select the class that they are a part of. So that's another option, and it might be a little less time consuming and stressful for you to have students create their own accounts. Anytime that you move away from the home screen like we are now, and you want to go back to where all of the tools are, you're going to go up here to the upper right hand corner and click dash, and that's going to take you right back where you need to be. The next thing I want to talk about today, and this is what I plan to spend a majority of our time on, is actually how to create an assignment in PlayPosit. PlayPosit calls these assignments bulbs, and as you can see, I already have a few that I've kind of been playing around with and creating myself. But I did want to show you the entire process from start to finish, because that is the whole purpose of this PD and of using PlayPosit to begin with. All you need to do to get started is go to YouTube or another streaming site, and you are going to select a video. This is a video I have pulled up. I pulled something that I know that I'm going to be teaching this year, which is theme. So this is a theme video that I found. And from the website, all you need is the URL. So I'm going up to the top and I'm copying the URL straight from YouTube. Then I will return back to PlayPosit, and when I'm ready to actually create my lesson, I'm going to go up here at the top, right here in blue where it says Design Video Bulb. If you click that, this is what you're going to see. And the first thing you are going to want to do is to insert the URL that you just copied from YouTube or whatever site that you choose. It does take it a second to locate the video, but once it does, you are going to click on the blue Continue button. And then it asks for some information like the lesson title, the learning objective, and then you have your grade level, your subject area, and your subtopic. For this, I would probably select reading. And if you want to, you can also insert the standards, which is really great. Down here at the bottom, this is a tool that I kind of overlooked at first, but I think it actually is a really great thing. This allows students, if you select this, as they're watching the video and answering the questions, they can rewind and rewatch things that they've already seen before they answer the question. And like I said at first, I kind of just overlooked that, but I'm starting to realize that that is an excellent tool, especially when you're considering UDL and our diverse learners and maybe some of the modifications that they might need. So now anytime that I get on PlayPosit, I always make sure that I turn that on so that my students who need to go back and who need to rewatch can have that option. After you have done that, you're going to click down here in the lower right hand corner and select Begin Building. Once you have done that, this is the screen that you're going to see. Again, you've got lots of options. One thing that I really like is down here at the bottom, the crop video tool. If you were to have a video that was kind of long and maybe you only wanted students to watch a certain segment of that video, you can actually directly from PlayPosit increase or decrease the time for what you want them to see. You can cut to certain points. That way they don't have to watch the entire video unless you want them to. And another really awesome thing is when you transfer the videos from YouTube to PlayPosit, they do not show any ads, which is really great because sometimes you just never know what's going to pop up on those YouTube ads. The next thing I want to show you is probably my favorite part, and that is how to add a question. It's very simple. Down here at the bottom, you are going to click on the Add Question button. I'm sorry, you actually have to select where you want the question to be first. So you've got this little white slider here, so you would move that to where you want your question to be. And then you would click on Add Question. And from here, you have a few more options. With the paid version, you can ask any of the questions that you see here, but with the free version, it's a little more limited. With that free version, you can ask multiple choice, free response, or reflective pause questions. So all you would do is click on the type of question that you would like to ask. So let's say, for example, I want to start with a multiple choice question. And then you just simply type in the question. Down here at the bottom, this is where you're going to put your answer choices. If you want to add more options, just click Add Answers. And then you will select the correct answer. Once you're happy with your question and your answers, you are going to click Save.
It's about life. His stories are called fake.
If you want to add another question, you just repeat the process again. Move the slider where you would like the question to appear. Click Add Question. This time we'll do a free response. And then click Save.
Might happen if Aesop traveled through.
If you would like to see what your students are going to see, you'll click on this purple preview button at the bottom, and this is going to show you what your students will see when they are participating in your PlayPosit lesson.
Aesop was a writer in ancient Greece who wrote dozens of stories to teach us lessons.
So one thing that we talked about earlier were some of the district-wide technology plan goals that our district has, and one of those goals was to use technology to give immediate feedback to students, and PlayPosit is just about as perfect as it gets to reach that goal, because when students answer multiple choice questions, when they click on their answer and submit, it tells them immediately if it was correct or incorrect. So that matches up with that goal perfectly.
It's about life. His stories are called fables. and the lessons are called morals. Well,
the extended free response questions are a little bit different because you actually have to go in as the teacher and grade those yourself, but students can directly type in here and submit their answer. When you are completely satisfied with the questions that you've inserted, you are going to go down to the bottom and click Finish Build. And then from here, you can actually directly assign it to the class of your choice. You can also select the due date, so the date that you want students to have that completed by. And then click Save. From here, you're going to go back to Manage Bulbs, and that's going to take you back to your home screen. The last thing that I want to show you about PlayPosit is how you can use this website to analyze data. So to view data for each of the videos or the bulbs that you have created, you will click on the Monitor tab in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. And then you're going to click on the class that you would like to view data for. So let's say, for example, I wanted to see data on this particular class. Again, I have not used PlayPosit with my students just yet, so I don't have a lot of data to go off of. But if you click right here on this gray Get Assignment Data button, it is going to show you the number of students who answered each question correctly. And I think this is a great tool to use for formative assessment because it is going to give you immediate feedback on the percentage of students who are getting it and the percentage of students are not, and the number of students who are understanding the specific concepts that you're asking in each question. So I think this is another really great feature of PlayPosit. So I do want to go ahead and close some things up here, but before I do, I hope that you can see some really clear connections between how you could use PlayPosit and Screencast-O-Matic together. My thinking with this is that you could actually record a screencast like we talked about, teaching some kind of concept to your students. You could then take that screencast and upload it to your YouTube page, and then take the URL that you get from that video, insert it into PlayPosit, and ask students questions while they watch your screencast. And I think this would be an awesome teaching tool that would be a great way to get that technology involvement and maybe even increase student engagement and motivation. I also wanted to mention that you could assign PlayPosit bulbs directly to your students in Google Classroom, because after you finish creating a bulb, it does give you a URL link that you could then take and post into your Google Classroom for students to complete on there. I think that this also would be a great way to incorporate technology into instruction, and not to mention how great it would be for all of your learners, since they can work at their own pace and they can rewind and they can do what's best for them. In closing, I would just like to say how much I really appreciate the time that you've taken to participate in this professional development with me. I hope that it was a beneficial process for you. I know it was beneficial for me. And if you have any questions, I would like you to please reach out to me and send those to me. And before you move on, before you end this, I would like you to take just a few minutes and explore and PlayPosit, create an account, maybe search some YouTube videos and see how you might be able to use these tools in your classroom. Thanks again. I look forward to hearing from you soon.